Christians. Our friend here quotes Romans 3:19, where it teaches that all the world may become guilty before God. All the world is guilty before God. No doubt about that. This is the one thing this person has said so far today that I actually believe and concur with because it's biblical. All men are guilty. So if all men are guilty, because what he's been arguing with me about is that God chooses who he saves, that he doesn't believe that God pardons whoever he chooses to pardon. And you cannot separate God's forgiveness and God's pardoning from his election and his choosing of those who are saved. God has to get involved because man is guilty before God. If man is guilty before God, it means that no matter what happens, the law must be answered for. The penalty must be paid. If man is guilty, there is no amount of effort on the part of his will that will clear him of his guilt. Man's free will cannot clear his guilt. So I'm glad this is the person who actually is saying this, because it is going contrary to everything he has been saying. If you follow the comments feed, you'll see him and I going back and forth. He's always wrong. Always. And then he takes verses like this, quotes them as being true because they are, but he doesn't know how to apply them. If man is guilty before God, that means that there is no aspect whereby his will can clear his guilt. Yet this is what he has been telling people, and this is what he's been conveying. You are guilty before God, but by your free will, you can choose not to be guilty any longer, which is absurd on its face. Freedom of will does not clear guilt. Think about it in our legal system. You can get caught for a crime, for murder, let's say, go before a judge, be declared and found guilty, and no matter how much of a free will you have and desire to want to go free, that's never going to happen. A change of heart doesn't clear guilt. Guilt is what must be dealt with, and guilt was dealt with by Christ. He cleared the guilt of the elect of God, because that is the only way that they can be saved, by having guilt removed. Be provoked and be persuaded.